every day, and I know that my heart brain is more powerful and more in tune to what I am able to manifest and what I'm able to create on a daily matter. Because I know for a fact by scientific proof that yes, I did do scientific proof to make sure of everything I say, of everything I was learning, that it was true and it was not falsified in any way. So when I do that and I look at that, excuse me guys, my hair is in my way, but and you look at your heart brain, it's in your heart. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of scientific proof here. You can research this and look it up for yourselves. Please do, because the heart actually has 40,000 neurons. In a section of the heart has 40,000 neurons that are the same neurons that we have in our brain up here. There's the same neurons, therefore that is why scientists have labeled it the heart brain. For the fact that there are, yes, 40,000 neurons in our heart brain that actually connect and give messages to our brain from our heart brain. Now we know that our heart runs on emotions, right? Because the heart brain will send messages to the brain through emotions that it is processing. And another thing about the heart brain is the heart brain connects directly with the subconscious mind. It doesn't have to go through the conscious mind or the unconscious mind. It doesn't have to go through any of those other factors. It goes straight to the subconscious mind, which is how our programs run, correct? So the best area of the mind and body to manifest from is the heart brain. And I encourage you all to get out there and learn more about the heart brain if you don't know about it already, because the heart brain is overlooked. I mean, it is really overlooked, not just by science, but by people everywhere who have the ability to flourish and forage and just go forward more and more if they would just learn these simple little things about different parts of our bodies. Because knowing that the heart brain has 40,000 neurons that are in the brain, that it is communicating with the mind. Think about it. How powerful is that for your organ? I mean, come on. Your organ that is pumping the blood, that's pumping the oxygen, that's pumping everything to you to keep your lungs going, to keep everything flowing in your body, to keep it all working, also has a brain. And when I learned to use this, and when I learned how to connect my right hemisphere, my left hemisphere of my brain, when I learned how to connect those two, and I call it making a bridge, because when I learned how to connect by knowing I have this heart brain, okay, great, fabulous. Now how do I have gratitude for you, and how do I use you to my fullest extent in everything I do? How do I do that? And when I do, and I look at that and I'm like, okay, this is amazing. How can I do this every day to make life easier for me, to make my life happy, to make everything just flow freely? Then I learned that by doing that, hold on a second, I've got something on my screen. Yeah, I don't know what it is. But science is constantly discovering more and more about the heart brain, because they know now that the heart brain is 60 times more powerful than the mind itself. Granted, your mind has two hemispheres, the right hemisphere and left hemisphere, and both hemispheres work to do different things. But when you can bridge between the right and the left hemisphere, what happens is you create what I call a bridge, but you also create a pathway to that section of your creative mind right there in the middle. You create a pathway to your creative mind. When you can access your creative mind on purpose, not waiting for divine inspiration or not waiting, for something to inspire you, but when you can create something on purpose through your creative mind by using the heart brain to make that connection, then don't you think that gives you 3 steps forward? No steps backwards. You're constantly moving forward, and you're taking 3 steps, 3 steps, 3 steps, 3 steps, because you're constantly progressing, you're constantly growing, you're constantly creating. So as you do this and you look at science and how it is explaining how the heart brain is working in conjunction with the heart, with the mind, and all can work together. And when you can bridge that gap between the heart brain and the mind, when you bridge that gap, or you knowingly access that gap, there won't be a gap anymore. You won't have the gap, because you're going to be having access to your creative mind on willpower, on inspiration, just immediately, on autopilot. You will constantly have access to your creative mind. And what happens in the creative mind? Granted, you get inspiration to do things and to, to forage here, to forage there. And you look and you say, well, what do I do if I have this awesome creative mind that is constantly wanting to create something? Well, that means that you're going to be manifesting what you want quicker and easier, because you're not going to have a delay. Granted, you have to be in alignment with what you get. So excuse me, pardon me, sorry about that. I didn't mean for that to happen. Yeah, hold on. Oh, yeah. I got a scratch on my face and it's irritating me. But aside from that, the more you're looking forward at your brain skills and everything about it and everything that you're doing, excuse me again, I'm sorry. I don't know what is causing my sneeze attack there. I apologize. But when you do this and you're using your brain and you're using your heart brain to connect and to make that connection with your heart brain and your mind itself, make those connections, you're going to find that you're going to be easier to manifest. You're going to be recruiting more leads or more recruits into your business. You're going to be going forward more and more and more every day. As you do this and you're going forward and you're progressing constantly, why not take that next leap? Why not take that step and say, hey, I've got this and I'm doing this every day in every way. Why not? You can do that, especially when you take control of your heart brain and connect it with your brain. Now, I use meditation a lot, and I suggest you do too, because meditation not only opens up your senses, but it allows you to have those connections that we need to have with our brain and our heart brain. When we have that connection that's there and it's growing and it's together, we are getting more and more successful. We're more prosperous. Things will come easier. Your skills will grow. Everything you need to have come about for you will come about for you. And always look at science, because science is explaining a lot more today about what's happening in our world and more discoveries that they're making. Like, they've known about the heart brain for a long time, but they have not spoken about it. And there's people they did speak about it, they didn't believe it. They had no way of thinking that the heart had a brain, that it had any neurons. But when they started studying the neurons in the heart, they realized those are the same neurons in our minds. So therefore, we have a heart brain. So when you look at that and you do that and you're like, oh my gosh, that is going forward for me. That is helping me. I am growing. I am prospering. Everything I am doing in my life, in my time, in this space is for me. And I'm growing more and more every day. So keep looking in that direction of where you're going and what you're doing, because everything you want is right there. The skills you need, everything you need is right there. Keep looking forward and look at science. Science is constantly moving, guys. Science is constantly discovering. So always answer your questions. Look at science. If you're not a scientist, that's fine. I'm not either. I use quantum physics. I use quantum mechanics. I'm not a scientist, but I do study this, and I study it diligently. And you can too. It's all out there in the world for us to discover and to learn from. And learn the skills that are going to grow your business forward and not take it backwards. Okay? It's always a big plus to be here with you, and thank you all so much for joining me. I will talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.